I was younger, it used to be a lot of pleasure to me when I see my wives goofing off and playing and having fun together. I'm jaded, I guess. I just don't see plural marriage in the same light that I used to. And we're at a stage in our lives now where we're far apart and we're struggling with getting along. I think plural marriage fits well with the personality of one of my wives. I'm not going to tell you which wives do better and which wives don't do well with plural marriage because I don't want the world judging.
Hey everyone, it's Katie. Welcome back to my channel. Yesterday we talked about Christine and the possibility of her leaving sister wives. Today I want to take a closer look at how Christine has evolved over the years and how she's finally stepping into a new chapter of her life. I also want to explore how she could use her platform to help other women who are still trapped in polygamy. Whether or not she decides to take that path, I'm not sure. Over the past 15 years, as the show has been on the air, many people within the world of polygamy have felt misled, whether by TLC, by their communities, or by mainstream media that often downplays the harm polygamy can cause. The voices of those who have suffered have been ignored or dismissed, and the reality of what goes on behind closed doors hasn't always been acknowledged. Even now, with this family facing serious fractures and heartbreaking losses, including the tragic passing of their son Garrison and other difficult moments, the full impact of this lifestyle is still not widely discussed. There were also tragedies that never made it to air, like an ATV accident that Kody and Robin allegedly covered up, or Truly's terrifying near-death experience from a severe kidney infection. Beyond the emotional toll, the financial damage to this family has been immense. In many ways, the women and children were treated as unpaid labor, while Kody controlled the wealth generated by the show to support his own lifestyle. No matter how much work the wives put in, they were only given what Kody decided they should have. Meanwhile, Kody and Robin lived comfortably, enjoying the financial benefits, while the other wives and their children struggled with obvious inequalities. These disparities became even more apparent when they moved to Flagstaff. Some of the women simply couldn't take it anymore. Janelle, for example, needed money to pay off her property so she could build, but Kody refused to help. Instead, she found herself living in a trailer for a while before moving into a small apartment, without Kody's support to buy a home. Yet, at the same time, money from Janelle and Mary was used to buy Robin a house, which became Kody's main residence. Since Kody and Robin are legally married, everything they purchase is shared between them. When Christine finally left, she was in a better financial position than the others, which gave her the ability to walk away. Christine had an easier time leaving polygamy than most women because she had financial security from the show. She had also been careful and strategic about her finances, making sure that the property she owned in Flagstaff was legally separate from Kody. A year before leaving, she refinanced her mortgage and removed his name from the title. So when the time came to walk away, she could do so without needing his approval or interference. Her transformation is remarkable. She went from being a mom working part-time at a gas station with only a high school education and a little college experience to earning a real estate license, learning property laws, and taking control of her own financial future. By using that knowledge, she not only ensured her independence, but also became the owner of 3 properties in Utah. She's come so far with the support of her children, family, and friends. Leaving Kody was the hardest thing she had ever done. She recently shared an emotional post on Instagram about her journey. She wrote, "Walking away was a mess. Bags half-packed, heart hammering, no clue what came next. I thought I needed a plan. Every answer lined up. I didn't. I wish I'd known. You don't have to figure it all out to start. I was so scared. Would I be enough for myself? For my kids? I couldn't see past the first shaky step. But taking it, even terrified, was everything. One move, one breath. That's where I found my footing. Years later, I'm still here, stronger than I ever thought. You've got that in you too. What's one step you're afraid to take? Tell me. I'm here, pom-poms ready." In a recent quote, Christine reflected, "The one thing I wished I knew before I changed everything." Since marrying David last year, her tone and message on Instagram have shifted. While she still shares family photos, her posts now focus more on strength, joy, and the courage to change situations that once felt impossible. Christine has undergone a major transformation, leaving her religion, her church, and her longtime partner, Kody Brown. She and Kody were spiritually married in 1994 by leaders of the Apostolic United Brethren. As his third wife, Christine took pride in her role, and never wanted to be the first or second. What she may not openly admit is that, in her church, most men stop at 3 wives because that's all they need to reach the celestial kingdom. The belief is, why take on more if 3 is enough? However, some men desire additional wives to climb the church's ranks, gain influence, or pursue leadership roles. Kody wanted more than just a place in heaven, he wanted status. When he brought in Robin, it wasn't just about marriage, it was about securing a deal with TLC. Without her, the network likely wouldn't have greenlit the show. Christine has now gone from advocating for polygamy to openly questioning it. Unlike others who leave, she's taking a gradual approach, but once her book is released, it's likely to solidify her as a full apostate, someone who has completely rejected the faith. In her church, apostates are seen as having abandoned not just their beliefs, but their entire way of life. Some things simply couldn't be forgiven. Christine has acknowledged that while some from her former church still accept her, others have completely cut ties since she denounced polygamy. She's even said that certain people refuse to speak to her now. When announcing her book, Christine wrote on Instagram, "I have a book about my life coming soon. You can pre-order it today using the link in the comments." It's gritty and honest. I share my journey from growing up in polygamy to my marriage and everything in between. I open up about the heartbreak of leaving my religion, my marriage, and how I finally found David. I'm beyond excited to partner with the talented Kelly Kennedy. While I didn't write it myself, every word is mine. Huge thanks to Simon & Schuster for believing in my story. Her book promises an unfiltered look at her departure from both polygamy and her marriage, marking another major step in her transformation. On February 10th, she posted, "My journey shows that change is possible. If you feel confined by silence, know that every little step brings you closer to a freer tomorrow. Let's move forward together." The phrase, "confined by silence," stands out. It suggests what many have long suspected. TLC's contract likely restricted her and other family members from openly discussing the truth behind the show. For example, Christine's children have publicly accused Mary of abusive behavior. When Padden first spoke out, it sparked major controversy, and both Mykelti and Gwendolyn later backed up his claims. Christine has previously hinted that her relationship with Mary broke down due to how she treated the kids. She said that Mary would take out her frustrations on Christine's children, and despite repeated attempts to set boundaries, it became clear to Christine that the situation was unacceptable. In the end, it wasn't about personal dislike or past friendships. It was about protecting her children. Mary caused harm to Christine's children. Abuse is widespread in polygamous families because of the way these relationships are structured. Wives often have no voice or power, so they take their frustrations out on those they can, whether that's each other or their husband's other children. Right now, the full details of what happened remain unknown since the kids haven't shared everything publicly. But this is one of the many instances where Christine has been confined by silence. Both Mykelti and Padden have said their mother was deeply upset when these accusations surfaced because it could jeopardize the show. If the public knew everything, it could completely ruin the image TLC has created. There are allegedly secrets within this family that are so dark, they've had to be kept hidden to protect the show. Several of the Brown children have hinted at this repeatedly. The wives, meanwhile, had no choice but to go along with Kody's dream of wealth and fame. He wanted the show, and they had to play their part, pretending to be happy, getting along, and keeping up appearances, even when things were far from okay. They had to stay quiet, not just to protect the family's secrets, but also to avoid backlash from each other. Kody often played them against one another, making them feel isolated. Chomper. Their religious culture, emotions are discouraged. Women are taught that their struggles are simply growth experiences, a mindset that brainwashes them into accepting their pain as something beneficial. That's why Janelle often talks about how she's grown through hardship. She genuinely believes it's a positive thing because she was conditioned to see it that way. The idea is that suffering is just part of the journey, making them stronger. Recently, Christine and Janelle appeared on a podcast, which I covered a couple of weeks ago. Christine opened up about leaving her church, discussing the struggles she faced as she walked away from everything she once believed in. Silence for so long, but now she's making it clear. She doesn't believe in the Mormon church at all. She hasn't just left fundamentalism, she's completely rejected the Book of Mormon. While she still believes in God, she now sees organized religion as something false. Through her Instagram, she's dropping hints about what's coming, and it seems like she's preparing to finally tear off the Band-Aid. I believe she's getting ready to share some of the raw, uncomfortable truths about her past, things she hasn't spoken about before. Some people doubt her. They think she'll hold back, water things down, or even lie. But what's important to remember is that Christine herself has admitted that one of the hardest parts of leaving polygamy was knowing people would question her honesty. For years, she told the world she was happy, that polygamy was her choice, and that she truly believed in it. She even advocated for changing laws that benefited polygamous families, something she still stands by. Every woman's journey out of polygamy is different. The way they process their past, let go of old beliefs, and embrace their newfound freedom is personal. Christine has already acknowledged on the show that she's dealing with trauma from her time in polygamy. She's called living in Flagstaff traumatic, and the show has hinted at her lingering fears. She's even admitted to having nightmares, where she's still married to Kody, reliving the years he controlled and tormented her. To her, he was an abuser. He terrorized her for so long, and this book seems to be part of her reclaiming her voice. She's finally ready to be honest. While it may not be the biggest tell-all ever written, it will likely reveal more than we've ever known before. For years, Christine was trapped in silence, controlled by Kody, by the church, and by TLC. That silence allowed Kody to manipulate and mistreat both her and her children for a long time. But now, he no longer has control over her. The fact that she's writing this book, using her voice and changing her stance, is incredibly powerful. She once told people to stay. Now, she's encouraging them to leave. I can only hope that as she continues this journey, she reconnects with family members who left before her, those she once distanced herself from. In the past, she turned away from people who were trying to help. But maybe now, she'll find a way back to them. Of course, some bridges may already be burned, and she may not want to rebuild them. But healing isn't just about reclaiming your voice. It's also about making things right. Hopefully, this book will do both, while also holding Kody accountable for everything he's done. Christine is also suing Kody, so there's a lot coming his way. With her book set to be released in September, it'll be interesting to see how the family reacts. There will likely be a wave of responses, and I don't expect Kody to take it well. If anything, he'll probably be furious. But more than anything, I hope this book gives Christine the closure she needs to move forward. The best thing she could do is use this as a stepping stone, turning her experience into advocacy, helping others escape polygamy, and educating the world on its dangers. If she's able to rewrite her own story in an honest and fearless way, no one can call her a fraud. What do you think? Will Christine finally tell the whole truth? Will Kody's dark side be fully exposed? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. See you next time.